up, guys? Eric here with driverlineup.com, world's okayest steering wheel holder. And you can see little Remy chilling back there. She's looking to make sure nothing falls on her. I'm about to go join her. I just wanted to get a quick video out to you guys to just kind of give you a little bit of a story on what happened last night. This load ended up being almost cluster fudge.
Cluster fudge indeed.
You said I can't show you.
All I said was cluster fudge. I can talk off to the side.
Jenna's driving. She's not awake yet.
Well,
I mean, she's awake.
Just hateful.
Yeah, she hasn't had caffeine or anything yet. She's working on it. Anyway, so we just left Prime. So Lyle, no hippie tracking transportation. Even when we go, I know you're going to call Jen at some point, give her shit. Even when we leave Prime, go get a load, we still end up at Prime. It's kind of funny. So yesterday we had this load, and it was 75 miles from Prime, and they had an empty trailer for us. Good paying load. It's like $2.60 a mile or something. But we made the mistake of going to, was it Bay 2? To get to check to see if we had national campaign stuff due on our APU, which we did in January. We got a couple things taken care of. They still have to do one of the things that they didn't have, fuel pump radiator, which they didn't have in stock. And there's apparently none of them in stock anywhere in the area. And then another part of national campaign was the new IVG Qualcomms, which use 4G versus 3G. So
from the speed of slug to the speed of faster slug.
Yeah, basically there's no difference whatsoever in the speed.
Oh no, there's a big difference. The difference is this one's even more mentally handicapped than the first one.
Yeah, it is. Well, that turned out to be a really big mistake, because the first one they swapped out, we had plenty of time. So we had to pick up this load between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. We had plenty of time. This was like 3:30 that we went and got this thing swapped out. We pull out of the bay, and the thing will not log either of us into it. It just will not log us in. Like it'll show our user IDs, and then like 15 minutes later,
and it was
boots
not
us out.
Communicating with logs.
Yeah, it wasn't communicating with logs. And it wasn't just that it needed time. Like usually whenever you have a new one put in, it just needs time. It needs time to connect up and sync up and all that good stuff. It wasn't doing that. So we sat there, we were working with logs, and logs even conferenced me in with OMNITRAX, which was OMNITRAX. Okay, let me go on a side tangent for a second.
Paving the way of innovation.
If you go on OMNITRAX's website, they talk about innovation all over their website. I'll tell you what my interpretation is of OMNITRAX and Qualcomm. They hired the entire engineering team from BlackBerry. That's what this ridiculous piece of technology is. It's the BlackBerry of ELD devices. It is so archaic and just silly.
It weighs like 6 pounds.
That we have to use something the size of a bowling ball, that is slow to boot up, and
Bowling ball has faster response.
What do you even have to? Why do you have to boot up? Like what? I mean, people have tablets now that do everything that thing does, and there's no booting up. There's no getting frozen. There's no anyway. So we get conferenced into Omnitrax, and Omnitrax says that their enterprise department, which Prime is obviously a huge enterprise customer, right? I mean, almost 10,000 trucks. Their enterprise department is experiencing a high volume of calls, so they offered to open a case and a ticket. And the lady in logs is like, "Ma'am, our truck's got to move. Like, we can't. What do you mean open a ticket? Like, we need live enterprise tech support," and that was not available and not offered. So not only are their devices archaic and ancient and just, I cannot stand them, their customer support is reflective of that as well.
But it's okay if we fix it, because we just took the Qualcomm out and replaced it with a Taco, and the Taco is doing a better job.
So there's no resolution whatsoever. So if we weren't at Prime, I mean, we would have been totally screwed. So they sent us over to get another one, and then the second one allowed me to log in and stay logged in, but it wouldn't let Jenna stay logged in. It immediately kicked her out every single time. It was actually worse than the first one. The first one we kind of semi-stay logged in, but not synced for like 15 minutes. The second one just booted her out right away. So we're getting pushed up against, like, oh my God, we have to go get this load, you know. So we're like really crunched for time at this point. And because I was logged in and I was starting my shift, Logs tells her we'll just use paper logs and we'll see if we can figure it out tomorrow. So we get out her logbook, we're gonna use paper logs. It's like 6 p.m. at this point. Again, the shipper, the 01, is 70 miles away. We go into outbound and Jenna gets popped with a drug test after she used the restroom. Like immediately after, like she had just used the restroom.
And they're like,
she had just used the restroom. Now she gets piss tested all the time. I swear to you, I bet she probably gets piss tested more than anyone that I mean, it's crazy the number of times she gets piss tested. You guys just saw a video. You guys just saw a video a couple of weeks ago where they lost her urine, you know, and we had that scare that they almost wanted to fail her on the fact that her sample got to the lab like weeks after it was supposed to. So she can't go. She's inside pounding water and coffee, trying to make it happen, and I'm sitting out in front of outbound just watching the minutes just tick, tick, tick. She can't leave the yard. I'm like sitting there thinking, okay, I'm about to solo this bitch over to get this load and then solo back and pick her up, because I'm not going to be late to this 01 because of all this madness. So it takes her like 45 minutes, like 6:45. She's finally able to get just enough. Like she said, she was able to get it right up to the line to give them a good enough sample. So we bust ass over to this 01, and I make it to the 01 with like 30 minutes left. It's a drop and hook, only to find out that the only part of it that's ready is the drop, not the hook. So, you know, it goes back to and when it was finally ready, close to midnight, when it was finally ready, they claimed on the bills that it's 40,500 pounds of freight. Well, they underestimated that by about 5,000 pounds because we're at 79,600 pounds, which means that they pretty much just threw on a couple, 4,000 or 5,000 extra pounds just for good measure. So thanks a lot for that. So this goes back to, in the relationship between the driver and the customer, the driver must adhere to every single little detail we're going through all this stress and busting our butt to get to this place when we're supposed to be there with a clean trailer full of fuel. We give them that trailer so they can load it again and sell more freight. We do our part all on time as agreed, and they don't hold up to any part of their, like, they lie or are dishonest or whatever about the amount of freight that's in the trailer. It's not ready at the time that it's supposed to be ready. So, by the time that I had left there, because of the chaos that happened yesterday, I wasn't able to get the sleep that I needed to get yesterday because we were having to deal with all this Qualcomm nonsense. So when I was driving back, my plan was to get well into Illinois last night, but it was not going to happen. Like, fatigue was, brushing up against my legs on the way out of that place, and I needed to sleep. So, and we had a little bit of time, not crazy time, but enough time to, we're not stressed or anything. And I needed a scale because the trailer gauge weights were showing 2,000 pounds overweight, but the truck was well under, but it was all hills and stuff, so I couldn't just eye it, and there was not a scale right by that customer. So I decided I would just go to Prime, and that way I could use the scale, I could park and get some sleep, and that's what we did. And then in hindsight, and let this be a lesson, because I was really kind of panicked about it this morning, actually. I probably should have, if I wasn't so tired last night, I probably should have gone through inbound, circled around, moved my tandem, circled around, and scaled before going to sleep. And then circled around and gone back through. But that's such a pain in the ass, especially when you're really tired. But
you forgot the part where when you went through inbound, they told you that.
Oh yeah, when I went through inbound, they also said, "Hey, is Jennifer in the truck? She's got to take a drug test." I was like, no, she just did that 6 hours ago. We went through this big. Anyway, and the reason is, I'm going to be disciplined about it in the future. But the reason, if you're a new driver coming to Prime, what have you, this could cost you a PTC issue. It could mess up your primetime certification, because if I had scaled it this morning when we just left Prime and it was overweight and had to go back and be reworked, well then it's on me, because Prime's going to say, well, why didn't you scale this at 12:30 last night, or when you rolled into Prime, why didn't you scale it? Because if you're going to be late to the 90 now because you have to go back to the 01 and have it reworked, well, you've been parked at Prime for 6 hours, So you really got... Now, I was pretty confident that it was not over gross. My concern was the trailer just going to be too heavy? Like, was some weight going to have to be moved around in the trailer? And the reason I kind of risked it and gambled it is because I was pretty certain that we were under gross, and that at worst we may have to roll in the 11th or 12th hole at worst. And it ended up working out like I thought it would, that the 10th hole was enough to keep us under, but it's so heavy I couldn't put fuel in. I couldn't put fuel in the truck or the reefer. So I will have to fill up the reefer right before we get to the 90, but there's a place I can do that. And so I'll probably be... It's that close to where reefer fuel may put the trailer overweight. So...
But I just want to throw in, we're not complaining about trucking. This is just, we share these experiences so that you're aware this is trucking.
Yeah.
We have days like
it's
this.
really important. Yeah, I'm not just bitching here. I'm just telling you guys...
It's kind of funny. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. It's like a game of...
This is the way it goes. Like, this is typically what it is. if a load goes really smooth, you're like, oh my God, that went really smooth.
If a load goes really smooth, it makes you nervous.
If a load goes like it did last night, that's just
Business as usual.
business as usual and part of your week. It's just the way it is, man. And if you've never been in the trucking industry or you're planning to come to Prime or something, you're probably looking at this going, oh my God, that sounds terrible. Everybody we know is going through the exact same thing right now. Like, we're seeing stories in our Discord channel, and Jenna's having conversations with drivers, all going through the same stuff.
I've got a friend going on like hour number 3, waiting for one pallet to get counted.
Yeah, it's like it's the name of the game, man. Like, it's just, I'm not bitching about that in general, because yeah, that's trucking. My one complaint to this whole process is one that I always make, and that's that we're expected to, adhere to perfection on all this, and nobody else is. Nobody else that's a part of the agreement has to hold up to their end of the bargain. Like, there's dishonesty in all of it. There's delays. There's whatever the times are. 5,000 extra pounds, whatever time is agreed to, their end doesn't have to hold to that. And it's just, it can be frustrating, and it's just the name of the game, man. It's the way it is.
Attitude is key, because my pro tip, getting upset and frustrated over all this stuff is just going to affect you, because nobody cares, and it's not going to change.
Yeah, it's definitely the case that nobody cares.
You have 2 choices. You can get upset and really frustrated, or you can just be like, well, that's trucking. So I choose to just kind of go with this whole meh attitude.
Yeah, you have to be able to mentally overcome this stuff, because she's right, nobody cares. Like, nobody's gonna change anything for shippers and receivers, and customers aren't going to be like, gosh, we really should maybe have these loads on time, and maybe we should put the amount of weight in there that we say we put in there. No, that's not going to happen.
Sometimes what's really cool, though, is for Truck Driver Appreciation Week, they'll give you like a toothbrush.
Oh, yeah.
To apologize.
So, anyway, this one's really long, sorry guys, but this is the one you're going to get today.
That's
So
what she said.
Anyway, I'm tired. I'm not feeling the jokes. I am really tired,
Attitude is
actually.
everything.
Sleep is everything. So anyway, we're rolling. We're back on the move. Jenna's driving today. She's gonna do about, not a crazy day, 420 miles or so, and then we'll be rolling in tomorrow. So that's really our situation. So Matt, No Leg Trucking, he's going through a lot of the same stuff, and it's, you're just gonna go through it. You're gonna go through it. These cluster fudge situations are par for the course out here on the road, and you got to be able to mentally flip that switch and just accept that is the name of the game. But anyway, we're on our way. Good paying load. Jenna's waving. She doesn't want me to show her, even though she's actually really cute today. She said she's really cute every day. She doesn't want me to put her on camera this morning. She doesn't want to go on camera pre-coffee.
I don't want to go on camera
driving. So, anyway, guys, be safe, make good decisions, always drive, thrive. Check in with you guys soon.